Joining us to give his perspective is Stephen Pattison. He's UK CEO of the International Chamber of Commerce, a business lobby group with a presence in more than 120 countries. Thank you for coming in today. There needs to be strong leadership, but this is something that we've been saying over the last year and a half. And it seems that we won't get strong leadership until the European governments understand that they're really facing an abyss, that there's no way out and no way to get out of this smoothly. Is now the time that they're actually starting to realize that this is crunch time?
Yeah, now is absolutely the time. I mean, business needs confidence. As the Chinese premier said the other day, confidence is more precious than gold. And it's certainly true for businesses all over the world. And what they're wondering is who's going to get a grip of this crisis and when.
But how can they actually come together and get a grip of the crisis? Because it's almost the nature of Europe that you have 17 countries, very different agendas. Each politician, although they understand the severity of the situation, still have people that have to vote for them back home.
Absolutely. No one is saying this is simple. It's a mixture of a very complicated economic situation plus a very difficult political situation. But if I compare it with what the G20 was able to do in 2008, at that time, the G20 was really able to set itself up as, if you like, the global governing body. And they got a grip of the situation. And you must wonder now where the G20 is in all of this. The G20's current agenda doesn't look to me like it's really addressing what's behind the current crisis. And that's one of the problems.
But so what's behind the current crisis exactly? I mean, we know it's Greece, we know it's about the deficits, but the one thing that, for example, is unsettling markets today is the fact that certain countries are now asking private creditors to take more of a hit if Greece were to default. Does all of this speculation need to stop?
The speculation needs to stop, but it won't stop until someone, somewhere in Europe or in the G20, takes a lead in helping to solve it.
Are you seeing more protectionism? This is one of the concerns that we had when the financial crisis started, is that actually to save your economy and to save face with your own people, countries just close up.
Yeah, one of the things we've been warning about is that everyone out there knows that there is an economic crisis, but not everyone out there knows that there is, if you like, a trade crisis heading for us. We're seeing increasing protectionism all over the world. It's not hard to understand the reasons why. The reasons are you've got an economic crisis, you've got elections in various countries that make it very difficult to take challenging decisions, and you're seeing much more subtle forms of protectionism than we've seen in the past. And this is something we've been warning about very loud.
Such as, so less trade between countries or actually blocking of certain takeovers? I mean, what is the form of protectionism nowadays?
You're seeing several sorts of things. There are lots of what are called technical barriers to trade, non-tariff barriers, all sorts of systems whereby countries impose approvals requirements that make it more difficult to trade goods. You're seeing campaigns to buy only goods from your nationality. You're seeing countries look at what's happening in the currency markets and using that as an excuse to develop protectionist sentiments and tools in their own countries.
Now, you represent the UK, of course, in the International Chamber of Commerce and UK businesses. Are you concerned about UK businesses? Just a couple of weeks ago, the Chancellor was hailing this as a country that was considered a haven. It was great because it wasn't seen as one of the peripheral countries, but we had that stark warning from the IMF saying we may be looking at recession here as well.
Yeah, well, the key thing, as everyone is now saying, is that we've got to restore growth. Growth for a lot of British companies will mean playing a bigger part in the global marketplace. They've got to look abroad to grow. And anything which makes that harder is going to hold back the prospects for growth in Britain and globally, and that's bad.
And so would you be asking actually the government to step away a little bit from the austerity measures? How do you on the one hand, cut deficits and put austerity measures, and the other try and spur the economy on?
Yeah, there's two different issues here. I mean, the government's austerity measures are certainly boosting the image of Britain as a good place to invest with sound financial future. What we would like to see the government do is to commit itself to helping to keep markets open worldwide and helping British companies get into those markets.
All right, thanks again, Stephen Pattison there, the UK CEO of the International Chamber of Commerce.